Rhulani, good morning, and thanks so much for your time. So, what can you tell us this Monday morning? Where are we in terms of progress in getting that vaccine going?
Hi, good morning. I think compared to a few months ago, we're a bit more optimistic about when you look at the progress that has been made, and not only by Pfizer and BioNTech, but also by other pharmaceutical companies. I think a month at the start of this year, we didn't have any vaccine to say that will to combat what we're faced with. So in the BioNTech and Pfizer in the last few weeks or so, we've been able to share some clinical trial data that is actually promising, that indicates that the vaccine candidate that we're looking at can actually stimulate antibodies in the body that is able to neutralize the virus. So that is promising because it's one of many that hopefully will come through. And it's a space that we're not at a few months ago.
Yeah, and we were constantly told, Rhulani, that a vaccine, we have to be patient. It usually takes 18 months to 2 years to get something going, to make sure that it's something that works. But in the context of where we are and the urgency of the situation, is there any chance that this, this might not take that long, that we will get it sooner than expected?
I think where we are, and hence I'm saying we're optimistic and hopeful, because Pfizer and BioNTech, the data we showed, as I indicated, showed a stimulation of antibodies. Where we want to do now, over there, hopefully in this week or so, we want to do a big trial which includes about 30,000 people. That trial will look at safety and efficacy of the vaccine candidate that we have. If that succeeds, then the next step of that is to actually apply for regulatory review as early as in October. In the event that also succeeds and we are able to get that regulatory approval, we aim to produce about 100 million doses by the end of 2020, and hopefully scale that up by 2021, so that by the end of 2021 we're able to produce approximately 1.3 billion doses. Having said that, that is not enough though. So we're looking for everyone else to bring in as many vaccines as possible. So we're rooting for everyone else, all the other pharma companies as well that are working in this space. Because our race is against the virus. We need to make sure that we get the vaccine for all of us, because the 1.3 and the 100 million that I indicated might definitely not be enough for the world population.
So how is all of this working? I mean, we know what's happening in Oxford, we know what's happening here at WITS, we know about scientists working around the world. Where do you fit in with your process in all of this? And are you all talking to one another on what's happening in these individual processes?
So we are running our own, Pfizer and BioNTech is running its own program. Oxford and other parties are running their own programs. And hence I'm saying there's multiple fronts which companies are getting involved in. So where we are, I think we're at a stage in the event we get through the clinical trial that is, we expect to start within a week or so. That allows us, because it's 30,000 people, that allows us to really review the safety and efficacy of the vaccine, because safety has been critical. We've been doing multiple things in parallel to really expedite to get this done as soon as possible. And hence, we're going to be looking at that. So once we get the safety data and the efficacy data coming through after our pivotal trial that we should start within a week or so, then we should be in a good position to apply for regulatory approval. And as I indicated, able to manufacture those 100 million doses this year. And in 2021, scale that up to 1.3 billion. So those are multiple processes, and we encourage everyone to continue to succeed.
Rhulani, it might be a bit early to talk about cost, but I'm assuming that discussions around that would have started. How cost effective is this going to be, especially for a country like South Africa, and I suppose for the rest of Africa as well?
I think our approach across the globe, so number one, we continue to engage with governments around equitable pricing and access, and I think that is one thing that we continue to do that, because Pfizer and BioNTech, what we have committed to is broad access of the vaccine. So the traditional cost-benefit ratio analysis that normally takes place for a product will not be the one thing that actually determines the price here. So we want a price fairly that allows for equitable and affordable access, and we continue to work with governments. So that's one of the things that we are doing to make sure that everyone actually has access to the product.
Rhulani Nhlaniki, thank you so much for your time. They will continue to watch that process.